Hi everyone, I hope you're keeping well in these difficult times. I'm Alex from Useful English. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. In this lesson, I would like to teach you about conditional sentences. This is connected to the past lesson about clauses. If you haven't watched the past lesson about clauses, please click the link below. This lesson is very important because you can see how conditional sentences and clauses work together. We are now starting. There are many rules in English grammar, and trust me, many of them are difficult to understand and they do not make sense. But there is one rule in English grammar that is easy to understand, easy to follow, and that is the rule in conditional sentences. How do we learn conditional sentences? Number one, understand the meaning. Number two, understand the structure. And number three, understand the usage and the context. I would like you to watch this lesson from start to finish because in the end, there will be challenges for you to do. So, let's go. What is a conditional sentence? A conditional sentence is a sentence that gives a condition or a situation and the outcome or result of a condition. For example, if I get sick, I go to the doctor. In this example, the condition or situation is if I get sick, and the outcome or result is I go to the doctor. So the idea of a conditional sentence is that it talks about something if something else happens. That is a conditional sentence. There are four types of conditional sentences. They are zero conditional sentence, first conditional sentence, second conditional sentence, and third conditional sentence. I repeat, zero, first, second, and third. All these four have conditions and results. Please check the above. Conditional sentences have two parts. The parts are the if clause and the main clause. It is called the if clause because the clause starts with the word if. The if clause has a subject and a verb, but it doesn't make sense. It has no meaning. That is why it is a dependent clause or subordinate clause. The other part is the main clause. It has a subject and a verb, and it makes sense. It has a meaning. The main clause is called the dependent clause. If you want to learn more about clauses, please watch my previous video on clauses. Zero conditional sentence. Zero conditional sentence talks about facts such as scientific facts. For example, if you freeze water, it turns into ice. This is a fact. This is a scientific fact. It is true. Let's take a look at the structure. In the if clause, it starts with if, then the subject you, then the simple present verb, which is freeze. In the main clause, it has a subject, which is it, then the simple present verb, which is turns. In the zero conditional sentence, use one simple present verb in the if clause and one simple present verb in the main clause. And remember, Use zero conditional sentence to talk about facts. We just learned that zero conditional sentence talks about facts and truths. Truths? What does it mean? Let's take a look at two examples. Example number one, if I eat peanuts, I get sick. This is true only for me, maybe not for everyone, but it's still true that I get sick every time I eat peanuts. Example number two, if I get sick, I go to the doctor. Not everyone goes to the doctor if they get sick, but this is true for me. So you have to use zero conditional sentence to express your own truths. Now for the structure. The structure is still the same. One simple present verbs, eat or get in the if clause, and one simple present verb, get or go in the main clause. Remember, if you talk about what is true to you, use zero conditional sentence. The next type of a conditional sentence is the first conditional sentence. Let's check out the examples. If it rains, we will cancel the trip. What does it mean? It means that it is possible that you will cancel the trip if it rains tomorrow. The keywords are possible because of the word if and tomorrow because of the verb will. Another example, if I get sick, I will go to the doctor. Again, this means that it is possible for you to go to the doctor if you get sick. So use the first conditional sentence to express a possible situation in the future, or use the first conditional sentence to predict a possible outcome or result in the future. Now for the structure. In the if clause, start with if plus subject plus one simple present verb. In the example, the verbs are rains and sick. In the main clause, start with a subject plus will plus simple verb. In the example, the verbs are will cancel and will go. It's clear, isn't it? The second conditional sentence. This is my favorite conditional sentence. Why, you may ask? Because it talks about fantasy and imagination. Don't you imagine or fantasize about anything and everything under the sun? I think everybody does. Anyway, let's get on to the example. For example, if I won the lottery, I would travel a lot. This means that you did not actually win a lottery. You are only imagining or fantasizing about winning a lottery now or in the future. Let's have another example. If I was sick, I would go and see a doctor. Again, you are not sick. You are not sick. You're only imagining or fantasizing about being sick and that you are going to see your doctor now or in the future. So you are going to use second conditional sentence if you talk about hypothetical or improbable situation now or in the future. Let's take a look at the structure. So it says in the if clause, you are going to use if plus simple past form of the verb, which is won or was. I'm looking at my screen. And And in the main clause, you are going to use would plus simple verb. In this case, in our example, we have the verbs travel and see. So please note that even though you are using the past forms of the verbs, you are not talking about the past, but you're talking about now or the future. That's a second conditional sentence. Save the best for last, the third conditional sentence. The example goes like this. If I had been sick, I would have gone to the doctor. Meaning, you were not sick at all. You were only imagining about being sick in the past. It never happened. Never happened. This is an example of a third conditional sentence. Use the third conditional sentence to talk about an imaginary situation in the past that did not happen. I repeat, imaginary situation in the past that did not happen. As for the structure, it goes like this. Had been plus would have plus past participle. Remember this, had been is always followed by would have plus past participle. Remember this very well and put this in your head. This is just an example. I'm going to use gone as a past participle after would have, okay? So you go, had been, would have gone, had eaten, would have gone, had spoken, would have gone, had driven, would have gone, had phoned, would have gone. That's how you use a structure in the third conditional sentence.